week of Leifeng Cup, I think. 2 weeks of Leifeng Cup. And don't forget, that starts tomorrow from 1 PM CEST, same time as we started today with Group A of the competition. We'll have our groups, they'll be determined tomorrow. Or later today, sorry. So that we'll have them known tomorrow. So, just wait to make sure this is sorted. GuMiho's like, they both have like the exact same response. Okay, but I have no idea what they're gonna do. It looks as though we're gonna play anyway. Re-BP, I've got no idea. Let's just wait a moment to get this sorted, guys. I think GuMiho's gonna ask. Classic. Okay, they're just gonna play, I think. Alright, so apparently this is going to be best of 5. Alright, so we have the bottom left-hand side. Our red Terran player from MVP will be GuMiho to kick us off on New Gettysburg, map 1 of this series. And to the bottom right-hand side from SKT1, it is our blue Protoss. It is, of course, Classic. And we've seen a pylon coming down at the edge of this base, and a Nexus on the way, a CC on the way. Factory coming up too, very standard stuff in the early stages. How's the $2,200 split? It's what, $1,400 for first place, $400 for second place, and third and fourth place take home $200 apiece. So you have to make top 4 to get some money out of it. But if you consider, I mean, for the Korean players especially, the group stages are generally quite a stable thing to get through because they play against Chinese players. There's 2 Koreans and 2 Chinese players, so unless the Korean players really mess up, they generally are the players who advance through the group stages, so then they get into the double elim bracket and they have a pretty good shot of making it into the money from there. So and I think if you win the first series, you already kind of get into the top. If you win the first series, you're already top 6, right? So you win 1 series, you're top 6. You win 2 series, you're top 4. So it's not that bad, you know, in terms of how much you have to play to get into the money. The qualifier adds a lot to it. As we're going to be seeing this Adept coming across the map here early. It's going to be a Hellion out early on from GuMiho to try and get some damage done. Some damage has been done here with Adept. Taking quite a lot of damage actually, so Classic is going to sort of be pushed away. This Adept going to go down. Starport coming up here from GuMiho, so that's going to finish. Again, just with the Gas First Ripper expand, it just allows you to kind of so quickly go into the Starport and the factory and then the Starport. We're going to be seeing the Adept trying to come up this ramp once again. 4 Marines and Hellion going to be coming forwards here. They're just trying to work their way against this. We're just going to be seeing this Adept on top of the ramp is going to be taken down. So Adept does fall. And not good start from Classic, honestly. Losing a couple of Adepts for not really much gain at all. So you'll see this Oracle about to pop out. This Oracle will go over to the left side of the map. We've seen the Stargate play from Classic earlier today on this map. Who did Classic play? We've cast Classic a couple times, right? Alive, I think it was. He looked fairly dominant against Alive. Alive just sort of getting out macroed a couple of times, it seemed, as this Oracle comes over to the left. So Pylon coming down from Classic. I'm just going to be seeing him actually maybe going to, like, what, overcharge or something this third base. That's very interesting. Pylon all the way over here, as we do see him going up to third next of his own. 2 workers going down already as this Oracle comes in. So he gets a couple of kills to begin with. 2 Hellions also looking around, spotting the third base. Some good information. Overcharge popped very early on here just to make sure those Hellions don't even begin to get up the ramp. Stalker's going to whoop in. Does he not see the third? He does. So he should deny that first, I think. Oracle getting pushed away again. A couple more kills came in from it. He's actually just going to go straight up this ramp and force a cancel on a depot. I mean, I guess he could still come in towards the third base and cancel. He's going to move over there now. So continue to warp in use. 2 more Adepts warping in on this side. Third base taking some damage. Oracle is back in somewhere. Apologies. Not sure where exactly it was. Did the Oracle just go down? It did. But picked up a few more worker kills. So, I mean, all eyes on this third base at this point because is GuMiho going to find a way to defend this? I don't really think he is. He is across the map with these Hellions. They found a way in. But only 1 worker killed maximum here. And then they get cleaned out. There's the cancel on the third base. And GuMiho, well, he's got enough units kind of on the high ground to defend. Let's see what the micro is like out of Classic. Looks as though he's not going to bother to try and engage. Just going to back away. It's alright, so it was the second Oracle that actually went down before. This first Oracle is still just sat to the right-hand side of the main base, ready to pop back in and look for an opportunity right now. GuMiho completely out of position, nothing apart from a single Widow Mine in position. That Widow Mine has just unburrowed at the wrong time, and Classic doesn't feel as though he can take it down though, so he backs away from it. Maybe he could have killed it. Anyways, 4 or 5 workers being killed here. GuMiho has nothing other than the Widow Mine to rely on, so loses 5 workers. This Oracle backs away. No more energy on it for now. But again, it'll just wait and strike again in the very near future. Marines tank coming over, coming through the top side. Going to join up with this medevac. I'm going to see a couple of probes from Classic will just transfer over to this third base as well. So a couple of probes just transferring over to the third base, and Marines from GuMiho will start to move forwards and look to see what maybe they can get up to. Tank still in the sky will be dropping down as well. These Marines moving forward. Actually, we're going to be seeing these Marines going to get rid of the pylon here. Or are they? No, they're not. Actually, they're going to let these units warp in. He could have just killed the pylon, which would have been a little bit faster than actually just killing the units. Although there's benefits to killing the units too. It means the resources are actually wasted rather than just allowing the units to be built elsewhere. So it's an interesting choice. But this attack in general is going very well for GuMiho. Look at this. I mean, the tank really having a good time. The Liberator is very far out of position, so it's safe from Stalkers. 5 workers going down. GuMiho has rebuilt that third base back at home. A little bit back and forth between the players here. First it was Classic being aggressive and getting some good damage done. Now it's GuMiho who's been fairly successful in terms of attacking. Both players now with Forges / Engineering base starting to upgrade. Classic's Oracle still to the south side. Currently just watching for drops. I'm sure very shortly we might see it come back towards the main base and just look for a few extra SCV kills. Off the Twilight Council, we're going to see Resonating Glaives as the first upgrade here, so Resonating Glaives on the way out, going to be going fairly adept heavy initially then perhaps. And this is something we saw from Classic in the earlier PvT series when he played against Alive. Just going to be seeing this Oracle trying to come back in again and just going to pick away at a few more workers. 4, 5, maybe 6. Is he going to get it? He is going to get 6, but then he does go down to the Widow Mine, which was just snuck in behind that refinery. So 6 workers going down. You're going to see a few more units warping in from Classic. 4 Adepts. They'll hop on up into that Warp Prism. So 4 Adepts into the Warp Prism here. And the Robo Bay is going to be continuing to come on in. So Robo Bay coming up. Stim Pack +1. That's going to be finishing soon for the Terran player. Both players with sort of important upgrades finishing shortly. Or in the relatively near future in terms of +1s and either Stim Pack or Resonating Glaives. Armory coming down now from GuMiho. He'll want to continue into those 2-2 upgrades nice and quickly, of course. Continue to utilize the double Engineering Bay. Has the minerals and has the gas for it already, so he's going to be well set up. And as we do have the few extra Adepts just starting to warp in right now. Colossus is about to pop out from Classic as he techs up into his mid-game composition. Colossi, something we've been seeing so much of recently, you know? So much of in the Protoss versus Terra matchup. They really have become a staple in the mid-game. So, it's interesting to see how it develops. Because I remember when Legacy of the War came around, everyone was just like, oh, I'm never going to use Colossi. And then people sort of tried them out for a while, and then everyone's like, well, actually, we tried them out again, and they were good for like a day or two, and then we just didn't like them anymore. And now they're sort of making a bit of a comeback once more. So it's kind of interesting, again, watching the metagames develop and change up. And we've seen a few SCVs going down in this third base here. As this Warp Prism is going to get chased away. 2 more Adepts going to drop down. There's going to be a lot of Adepts from Classic actually going to be moving forwards and looking to get some damage done. So moving on in towards the natural expansion. Actually just going to jump on top of these Marines. And they're going to get a lot of damage done initially. Rest of the units come down to the from the main base though. And these Adepts are going to continue to fall. So Adepts going down. And we're just going to be seeing GuMiho cleaning that out. A few more Stalkers being warped in as Classic will get set to still just build up into his mid-game, but I still feel he's in an advantage. I feel as though all game long we've been seeing, apart from that one fight at Classic's third base, everything we've seen has been very Classic favored over GuMiho. So it's intriguing so far. We see this Blink going to be finishing up very soon. So that'll be finishing up in the very near future. 2-2 upgrades coming down from GuMiho, as we mentioned before. He wanted to go into them nice and quickly. But GuMiho is down on workers. His army isn't... He's not down on army, but he's not kind of even on army either. He's like 10 army supply down, which of course is not the end of the world once you start getting that Liberator count up, but it's just when you're down 20 workers as well, like, where are you really headed in the game? You're going to see now Classic getting ready to be very aggressive as his +1 armor finishes, his Blink's about to finish, so he's really set up. You know, this army of his has the upgrades he wanted to have, And what we've seen from Classic earlier is that at this stage, he'll start up that second Stargate, and he'll start up this flip beacon to start playing the late game composition. He's not afraid to just go straight into late game while he pokes across the map with this, although maybe he just feels as though he's far enough ahead that he doesn't need to do that this time around, and that this game will be ending just on this composition that he has at the moment. Warping in 7 Adepts, 1 Stalker. GuMiho currently setting up into a Ghost Academy, so really getting ready for his own late game. He's currently missing combat shields though, wow! Well, that's a really big upgrade to be missing here for so long into the game as well. That's really crazy. As we're going to see, those Adepts will shade on forwards here. He's going to commit to this fight. These units are going to stem back in. If he fights without combat shields, I mean, that's just crazy. He's actually not going to commit the Adepts in. He's just going to pick away at the tanks from a distance, stay out of the liberation zones, let the Colossi do the majority of the work here. The Liberator is now going to unsiege, reposition. That's when them Stalkers might start to move forwards, but no, they don't blink into this. He just backs away again. He's playing this so well because he's just not engaging when he doesn't have to, and GuMiho realizes that that trade is not going to work for him. GG. Let's see how this is going to go as we kick things off to the top left-hand side of the map. Our blue Terran player is going to be Classic. His opponent down to the bottom right-hand side, our red Terran, GuMiho. So second game. And it's obviously on such an interesting map. Dasan Station is not really one we ever truly see in TVP. It's generally the Terran player's veto. So it is interesting to see this coming out, because what Terran player wants to play on a wacky, crazy map against Protoss, which have so many, and which as a race just has so many wacky, crazy things they can throw your way? Well, basically no one wants to play against that, right? You know, everyone wants to play just not necessarily super standard all the time, but it's just frustrating to play on this weirder map. We will see GuMiho going for double gas early, so what he's going to do is, I don't know, because sometimes it feels that Protoss players might want to veto this map as well, because the Terran one base all-ins on this map can be very powerful, even if you one base yourself. Let's watch see how this turns out. I mean, I just really don't see very much Dasan Station TVP. So it is intriguing. I mean, it just changes the metagame completely. You know, Dasan Station has a metagame of its own, because with the way the map is, you just can't afford to do, you know, you can't afford to just, you can't afford to do nothing. You can't afford to do standard, I should say. You've got to play differently. You've got to react differently, scout differently. Think of different timings that might come in from your opponent. Look at this. I mean, Classic has a pile on this low ground and the gold base of his opponent. Wow. Well, that is one way to proxy a Stargate. I mean, it does not get much more proxy than that. Look at that in the gold base as well. Just down there. Like, if GuMiho was... I guess to be fair, if GuMiho scouts down, he goes down here, goes out there, and the vision is just out of reach. Probably going to come forward, place down a pylon. Zealot will come up the ramp as well. Marine will work its way against this. We'll push the Zealot away without too much of an issue here. But there's the Mothership Core. Well, GuMiho does have a tech lab finishing on a factory, so a Cyclone will come in shortly. So this isn't the end of the world for him right here, straight away. And he's going to be able to have this to work with us. Ooh, just to cancel the depot though, that's a mistake. And I like this, just the phone overcharge being left there just to work his way against the depots. Look at that, using the probe for high ground vision. As the Zealot and Adept commit forwards to try and get worker damage done, or chase down the Marines, obviously, as well. If you chase down the Marines, kill the Marines, then the worker line becomes a lot more vulnerable. Sorry, we couldn't see the health of the Mothership Core there. It's being blocked by the CC. The Mothership Core going to stay healthy for now, although only 2 workers killed and he's going to have to back away. I don't think he can fight against this much longer, and the Cyclone comes out as well. GuMiho is actually going to defend this without too much damage really taken. Yes, he lost his depots at the front, but he's killed off a lot, and with the Oracle follow-up, well, actually, the Cyclone just needs to make sure it doesn't die, and also needs to make sure, well, actually, this is bad. He needs to repair that Cyclone ASAP, because if it gets targeted down, oh no, the Mothership Core got swapped onto. Oh no, well, that's big, because now the Cyclone goes down. Now there isn't anything to defend. GG. Well, that turned around, and that went so wrong so quickly. That's best of 5 series. Let's go into this and introduce our players. Currently up 2-0 is our blue Protoss player to the bottom left-hand side of the map. From SKT1, let's hear it if you're cheering on Classic. His opponent to the upper right is our red Terran player from MVP. It's GuMiho. Guys, when all these crazy good players signed up for today, I didn't actually think all of them would show up, because oftentimes they sign up and then, like, you know, on the day, like, well, actually, nah, I don't fancy playing a deal, you know, I don't, you know, or whatever, right? But no, today, literally everyone came to play, apart from Bjorn, which is probably the most, the guy you would least expect to not show up for an online cup. Yeah, so everyone showed up today. What a great event it has been. So many good games. So many good games we've seen so far today, so it's been a lot of fun. And let's see what game for number 3 is going to bring. Let's hope that GuMiho... Oh god, what's happening to my ping? I'm just going to rebroadcast here, guys. So, shout out to Pommy, who's going to be, well, not necessarily allowing us to rebroadcast, but I'm just going to assume it'll be okay. So, just to finish this off, potentially, well, maybe finish the series off, maybe we have another game, but we do have Marines moving across the map currently. Cyclone is out, and, yeah, so far, very standard opening from both. And we're just going to be seeing the, you know, we're just going to be seeing a little bit of pressure here early on from GuMiho. So a little bit of pressure coming in from him. Marines coming across the map to try and get some damage done. Going to try and work his way against this pile. And a couple of Adepts coming in too. And just trying to work away against a Marine or so. So, just going to be seeing the Liberator on the way up from GuMiho as well. So just a lot of pressure play out of GuMiho. Nothing too crazy. Pretty much what you'd expect. This Medevac, he has to be a little bit careful getting pushed away by those Stalker or two. So Stalker 2 just pushing that away right now. And we are just going to be seeing these units in the natural mineral line just by the way. Sorry, a little bit distracted by casting. Right, let's focus up. So Medevac is having to go back home. GuMiho is going into now a siege tank as well as the blink comes up. There's also a warp prism on the map. So lots of potential for Classic to be aggressive while taking a third base. As we're going to be seeing Marines dropping off here. And a Medevac just getting repaired on up as well. So Medevac getting repaired on up. And again, Observer continue to come across the map. There's a few more Stalkers finishing up here in just a few moments. And we're just going to be seeing these Stalkers continue to move forwards and looking to see what else is happening. So Stalkers continue to move on forwards here. And aggression will come in from Classic. Question is, how successful is it going to be? He actually does a couple of probes at home to the Liberator, so that's a little bit annoying. But he does have a Palin coming up in location, so he got that down at least. So you will be able to overcharge that in a few moments. Still just waiting, warping in a couple more Stalkers. What is there at home? How many tanks is there? Is there just one, or is there two? It's interesting to sort of look at. It's going to be very interesting to look at here in a moment or so. So it'll be... seeing what happens with this as we have the Liberator sieging up once again. Just picking off another couple of probes. Here we go. Stalkers do advance forwards, but the tanks get picked up. They get microed away. GuMiho will survive, and GuMiho has actually taken a big lead in this game. 37 army supply to 26. Looks very, very good for him so far. Sorry guys, just wanted to, just gonna have to double check to make sure that like the game isn't over or anything and that we're not missing an invite or so. Because we don't want to delay the players, obviously, so it's a bit of an awkward situation for us. Alright, so I'm going to be seeing these few SCVs just sort of working away here. Observer is going to get scanned and Marines are going to pick it off. And again, Stalker's just continuing to target this down. So Stalker's continue to target this down for now. And we're just going to be seeing the, well, another racks being added on, +1 armors coming into play. And yeah, I mean, Stim about to finish up. Both players in a pretty kind of standard position, I guess. I thought GuMiho was a little bit further ahead than he really is. But it's actually pretty even from both players. I think maybe Classic lost a few extra Stalkers than he should have done trying to attack in before. Because he didn't actually even kill off any of the tanks or anything. So yeah. Anyways, you're going to see a few tanks loading up into the medevacs. I'm just going to be seeing again units just gathering together. You're going to see an observer just being pushed away by those few marine stalkers blinking forwards. I'm just going to be seeing tanks dropping down to push those stalkers away as well. So tanks dropping down to push the stalkers back. They're going to jump up to the right hand side. And again, just look to see if they can find a way in to try and get some damage done. Or just stay on the map just to pressure. We actually see a lot more gates being added on. Next to Warp Prism is on the way up. So more pressure coming in the near future from Classic. Very, very shortly. There's a bit more damage going to be coming in from him soon. These stalkers will probably blink over those rocks and try and push in here. At least that might be the idea if GuMiho moves out. Because he could get a lot of damage done with the stalkers on the counter-attack. But that's a little bit awkward. The stalkers missing their blink a little bit. Has to make sure if he wants to get out of there, it's going to be a little bit cleaner. Scan comes down, loses the observer. That's a little bit awkward because obviously he wants to be able to have that observer up to see when this army is moving out and when it's going to be really out on the map so that he can move in safely. He's going to start moving out into the natural expansion now. And here we go. He blinks on E. He's going to look to work his way through some reinforcement stalkers. Well, I mean, the rest of the units coming back up here. Classic's plan is not really working because these stalkers are going to be stuck. He blinks over the base, but of course, GuMiho can just go straight up the ramp. And yeah, these stalkers have done absolutely nothing. So stalkers are unfortunately not going to be able to do too much here. As Marines and Marauders will stim in, clean out another stalker or two, and that will be that. So a few more Liberators just going to join on up, and GuMiho's army is again looking pretty good at this point of time. So GuMiho's army still looking pretty good here. And as we're going to be seeing Bioforces and Gateway units join together. Look at that resources lost that Pommy's pointing out. 4k to 2k lost in favour of the Terran. GuMiho really looking great here in game number 3. Again, I think it just came down to the early Stalkers traded very badly from Classic. And what Classic's doing is almost like an all-in because he's got no Forge, he's got no upgrades. He's just on 0-0. He's just making Stalker Adept and a few Immortals here and there. As Liberators will start to chase that Warp Prism. Interesting that he's got so many Liberators at home, out of position, away from this main fight. So that's sort of intriguing as we're going to be seeing a lot of SCVs going down. This is maybe with Classic's way back into the game if he can do enough damage with this. And he is starting to. 18 workers have been killed. Classic going to take that worker lead. Still down in the upgrades though, and I think that's one of the big things right now that he has to be so careful about. We've seen Liberators just sieging up just to try and back away or turn away one more of these units. Oh my god, so many more Adepts coming across the map, and GuMiho is just a little bit out of position. Not really out of position, just out on the map in general. And these Adepts, even if they just sort of trade here against reinforcements, is fine because they're trading very well. However, there comes the rest of the army from GuMiho as he comes back to clean this up, and those Adepts don't last very long. So Classic, his attempt to kind of come back there was somewhat short-lived, as now he loses quite a lot. Once again. And we're going to be seeing the tanks just loading up here. Classic's taking quite a lot of map control. I love this. Another Warp Prism out. Every time he loses it, he just rebuilds it, saying, well, you know what? This is so important to me. I wonder if there's a bug on the overlay here, because right now GuMiho's going +2 attack, but no, +2 armor, but no +2 attack. Like, this is really weird. Why would he not get any attack upgrades? That's really strange. It's very different. I'd love to check if he actually had +1 attack. I know it shows in the bottom right, but maybe it's bugged or something. Like, I don't understand why he doesn't try and go for that. Anyways, here comes the issue for Classic in this sort of game where he's going to be very hard for him to really fight against this Liberator count. However, GuMiho's attacking in this position where he's really force-fielded out, so it's quite a good trade from Classic initially. And Classic will continue fighting here, and he's also doing good damage across the map with these Adepts from the Warp Prism still. So Classic's still doing quite a bit. And he is holding on for now. So continue to hold on, continuing to defend. And at this point, actually, Classic is, well, actually up in workers. And he has started up the Forges, so his own upgrades are going to be coming in here. They're going to be finishing in the very near future. So his, in the near future, the upgrades are going to be finishing. Actually, look at this. Classic. Oh, well, this was actually not so bad, blinking forwards to trade. But then the Widowmines did so much damage, and the Stalkers are going to get cleaned out. GuMiho is going to clean out the rest of this army. And honestly, now Classic is in a lot of trouble. So I think this is probably going to be GG. And we're probably going to have to keep an eye on an invite into game number 3. Because Classic just doesn't have anything left over now. 93 army supply to 15. And that's going to be GG as I keep tapping to try and check to see when we're going in game. Don't want to miss the invite. Don't want to miss the invite. Yeah, this game's over. 1 DT. I mean, he just needs to scan. He actually had to lift his third CC, GuMiho. So, I mean, that's somewhat frustrating, as we're going to be seeing the scan comes down, DT falls, and this Nexus will continue to just take a little bit more damage. And we'll be seeing the Bioforces just run on in. And Classic just going to take a few moments to tap out of this. But it will be Classic to tap out in the end. I mean, what is he meant to do? He's got one more DT he's going to try and bring in to try and get something done. It's just not going to be enough. It's just not going to be enough. More units going down. And, well, still DTs across the map trying to do something. Classic really is hanging in here until the very, very, very end. But, yeah, I mean, in a base trade, GuMiho just wins anyways. He's got a CC landed. He just has to get rid of one more Dog Templar. Or one across the map as well, but one chasing his army. I mean, he's completely fine here. There's no way he isn't. So, just going to be seeing GuMiho coming in, and just going to be seeing this pylon getting cleaned up. This Nexus will go down as well, and that will be that. There they are in game. Join them as GuMiho does GG, and that will be the game. Alright guys, so sorry for obviously an ideal situation where we disconnect from the game and we have to kind of go into this. Get a second monitor. Guys, so I had to do the screen switch. I know it's like annoying, but I'm pretty sure you'd prefer me to screen switch and to show you to screen switch and make sure we don't miss the next game, than just have to miss the next game and then not have game number 4. You know? I know you like to bitch about everything because that's just what Twitch chat does, but logically it made sense, because otherwise we wouldn't have game number 4 for you guys and you wouldn't be able to see game number 4. So, and I can't just drag it onto a different screen. It doesn't work like that with the setup that I have. So I'm sorry. I know it's not ideal, but that's the way it is. Is the SE2 Improve site down? Yes, SE2 Improve has shut down, so there's no SE2 Improve website anymore. Yo, Wardy, I'm a pro designer. No, I don't need any design work, mate. I don't need any design work because I've just rebranded and I've got new graphics already made. But thanks for offering. Top right hand side of the map, game 4 of this series is our Brew Pro player who's 2-1 up. It is Classic from SKT1. And to the bottom left, bottom right, it's our Red Terran player. It is MVP's GuMiho. So guys, I told Pommy that we were streaming him. I asked him if it was okay. He didn't actually reply, but I told him to let me know if it was or not. And then I wouldn't do it again, yada yada yada. Anyways. In this best of 5, we're going to game number 4. And look to see what's going to be happening. So again, apologies for the last game. Obviously it's not ideal, but I tried to make it work so that you guys can still watch the action, so that we can still watch the action together. Anyways, membership code pops out, so GuMiho obviously winning game number 3. Which means we do go into this 4th game now. Have to buy another monitor. I have another monitor, but it isn't as simple as just dragging something over to the other monitor all of a sudden to kind of stream from it. With the setup that I have. With the way it's set up, it just wasn't going to work that quickly. So I'm sorry guys. It doesn't matter because it's a one-off situation that isn't meant to happen anyways! Arrgh! I don't know why I read Twitch chat sometimes. Anyways, we're going to be seeing this pylon coming down. We're going to be seeing this overcharge is going to pick off this depot at the front. GuMiho this time doesn't have a cyclone out super quick to sort of turn this away like he did previously. So, we're just going to be seeing right now this overcharge overhead. And there's another ship overhead, and those marines just going to work their way through this pylon. So just working their way through this pylon, and we're just going to be seeing the pylon going to be dropping down. So pylon goes down here, and we're going to be seeing the mothership core falling back. That wasn't actually too much damage done. Only the depot killed, so that was okay here. As we do see a Dark Shrine follow-up from Classic, so going to be aggressive for the DTs right from the get-go in the early stages of game number 4. Thank you very much, Van Castle, for the cheer 50. Says you rock already working out a solution even if you dropped the game. It wasn't really a great solution. And it's not really ideal to suddenly restream someone you don't have permission to, but I cast a lot with Pommy, and if he isn't okay with it, then I will never do it again. But I would, you know, if the same happened to him and he had to restream from me, I wouldn't mind if it was just for a game or whatever, you know, because that shit happens. Anyways, Widow Mine Drop has come across the map from GuMiho, so he's going to be working his way through this assimilator. So assimilator going to be going down. Pylon here going to be on the way up as well in this mineral line. So yeah, just going to be seeing these few adepts coming in, trying to defend this. It's actually a really nice little position from GuMiho, away from any of the pylons. This pylon here can reach, though, I believe. Yeah, he should be able to reach like to there, right? So these units might be in a little bit of trouble. There's the DTs, though, and you know what? GuMiho is not prepared. He does have one scan in a moment or two. He hasn't dropped the mule instantly. He does have a few more probes over here. It's a very awkward situation, but these DTs started to do quite a lot. Nice scan, but he lets 2 DTs up into the main still. Those DTs will start to do a lot. 14 SCVs have been killed, and GuMiho is actually just going to type out despite the damage he was doing across the map. He's just going to type out, and that'll be GG. Classic is